Welcome, everybody, to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, episode number 188. Coming up on this episode, the Leafs return home from their California trip, and they dominate the Sharks again. A 7-1 final. They've now won 4 straight, and it's official. It's official. Nylander has signed an 8-year extension worth $92 million, the biggest contract handed out in the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs. What does it mean for Mitch Marner? We're going to talk about that. And we also got one segment tonight, just the tip, all this and more coming up on episode 188 of the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast.
A blowy, snowy, not the best winter night out here in Ontario. Would that stop Mike Ricci from wearing his flip-flop reach dogs to the game? I don't think so. We're going to break it all down here and tell you all about it. Let's hit the intro.
Kamara's coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
Welcome, everybody, to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
Don't forget, follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Tip In Podcast on TikTok, Tip In Pod on Twitter. Email us tipinpodcast@gmail.com. Well, here we go. It is a snowy, a blowy, a rainy, a wet Tuesday night.
Very wet. Very wet.
Very wet. It went from snow to pellets, and now it's raining outside. Welcome to the new world.
Yeah, man. Dude, the Sharks, eh? The Sharks.
God.
Yeah.
I tell you, after we stopped recording the last podcast, I said this to you, and I wanted to say it on the last podcast, but there is always a last place team in the NHL. Every year, the Leafs have been that last place team. This may be one of the worst last place teams I have ever seen. The fact that they've even won 9 games blows my mind. They are brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
They are brutal, man. They are. So we'll get into it here. Anything right off the top, Chad? Because I got a couple quick things from Sheldon Keefe. We're obviously Nylander going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
What I think I should just say to you right off the top. Did I shoot you a little text at about, I don't know, maybe 10 to 7 or so?
You did, yeah. You want me to read it?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
First, he said, if your first text said, I want to talk to you about something, I think I like men, something like that. Anyway, then the next text says,
that's not what it said.
The next text says, what do you want to bet that Mitch has a big night tonight? Like, hey, guys, don't forget about me over here.
Right.
That was your text.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, 2 goals, 2 assists for Mitch Marner, kind of leading the charge a little bit.
Yep.
Just kind of had a little bit of a feeling there, Chad. Like a little bit of a feeling, obviously coming off of the new Nylander contract, which we're going to get to in 2 seconds here. But I just had a little feeling that maybe Mitch was like, hey, I'm getting a little left out in the cold here. Might show up and stir some shit tonight. And okay, was it Marner's best game? No, they're playing the Sharks. But still, he did lead the charge with 2 goals and 2 assists, a 4-point night for Mitch. Just, not to toot my own horn here, but toot.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give it to you. He had a big night. But it is the San Jose Sharks.
I know.
So, it was point night. Everything was going in the net tonight.
Yeah.
It was
fair.
crazy.
So listen to this off the top.
What did Kiefer say?
Oh, I think you're going to like this. Sheldon Keefe, he said, talking about Nylander, right when he gets the new contract. And we basically went over the whole need. We knew it was, the cat was out of the bag. We knew what was cooking here with Nylander. We knew it was going down. We didn't know exactly financially, whatever. Ends up being the biggest contract ever signed in the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs. $92 million over 8 seasons. We're going to get to that in 2 seconds. Sheldon Keefe said he has seen tremendous growth in Willie over the years. He said Sheldon Keefe said he can't recall having a player that has seen the growth as much as Willie. So what does that tell you? Like, what is this guy seeing that maybe everybody else is seeing? He's talking about, like, what are we talking about here? Growth? What? Like, I mean, yeah, sure, 40 goals last season. Who knows? Like, incredible out of the gates this season, looking incredible. But are we talking growth on the ice? Are we talking, what type of growth are we talking
like
about?
physical growth? Because he's gotten bigger over the years. You know what's funny is, like, he's had Keefe as a coach a lot
since he was 19. Since he was 19,
played with the Marlies with him, and now he has him in the NHL.
So Sheldon has seen a lot of growth there.
He's seen a ton of growth.
A lot of growth there. Loved it. Love that.
That's
Love
good.
that.
Well, he's not wrong.
No,
I mean, I can't confirm every growth, but he's not wrong.
There's
a lot of growth.
Wrong. A lot of growth there. So I love that. But anyway, man, so, you know, cat's out of the bag. It's all done now. So Nylander signs biggest contract in the history of the franchise. And, you know, we were talking about it last podcast, like it was all but done, but now it is officially done. What are your thoughts?
Pretty much the same as the last podcast. You
were kind of playing devil's advocate
playing devil's advocate a little bit. My thing is, I like Nylander, and I know a lot of people would rather keep Nylander than Marner, and that wasn't what I was debating. My whole thing was, like, it's just another. It's the Leafs management again, just giving them what they want.
Tree Living seemed through the roof about it. Like, he was just like, you got good players, you got to keep them, and that's what we're going to do.
Right.
Basically.
But they haven't done anything. Like, they haven't won anything in the playoffs. That's my, like, regular season, best team. You could be the Ottawa Senators right now, where you're handing out big contracts and you're dead last in the league. That's not where we are, and this Leafs team has never done that. They always get you to the game. I don't know. I was just playing devil's advocate. I'm glad for him. I'm glad he's a Leaf for a long time. Do I love the number? Same. No, I don't love 11.5. But I'm glad Willie's on the team. Yep. And then at the same time, I don't give a shit. Figure it out.
That's kind of
fill out the roster. I want Willie on this team.
Yeah, they'll be the first team in the history of the league next season to have 4 guys making $10+ million. Yeah. So he's gonna have Tree Living's gonna have to figure.
Maybe.
Well, no, they will be. They will be. Like,
yeah,
I'm telling you right now, they're not. If you think they're moving off of Mitch or JT, it's not happening. Like, Shanahan's got an ultimate plan here. He's just going to keep going back to it with these guys until they win. And if they don't, then they don't. But he will keep trying and trying. And guys in their mid to late 20s, there is a lot of room there for them to still pop. Like, now we're talking about winning 1 Stanley Cup. And that's all I need. I'm good with that. Like, the Pittsburgh thing, the Chicago thing, the LA thing, forget about that. Like, we're not getting multiple. I don't see it. But let's just get 1 and see what happens. And see, like,
oh my God, I would be so happy with 1.
That's just it, right? Like,
Jesus,
get 1 cup and that's it. Like, really nothing else matters. Just get the fucking cup and whatever. So, a lot of money. Like, there's speculation, like, on the open market, he potentially, Drager is talking about, he could, the best free agent on the market, he could have potentially got 12 and whatever. Well, maybe, but we'll never know. But 11.5, man. And Tree Living was asked, you know, today and yesterday about, like, you know, what did the number look like in the summer? Like, could you have got him at 10 or 10.5, whatever? He didn't really want to go there with that, obviously, but I don't know. Like, do you think Tree Living was just looking at this being like, all right, like, we're just, obviously they gave him what he wanted, Nylander and his agent and his dad, and they all had a number in mind. And I guess this was it to stick around long-term, 8 years. But I don't know, man. Do you think, like, I don't know, like, it's just such a large dollar amount, but he is killing it. And I don't see him slowing down. Like, we were talking about that last podcast. Like, late 20s, not even late 20s, like 20, what is he, 26, 27 years old? His best years are probably ahead of him. Big price tag, but ultimately, what's the alternative here? You let him go. The team's not as good without him. I know they haven't won. I get it, but you want him on the team, right? Like you were just saying. Like you want him. There was no part of me that didn't want Nylander to be elite.
You want him on the team, and my whole thing with it, and it had really nothing to do with like William Nylander, the player. It's more the management style of handing out contracts left and right and giving everybody what they want. Like at some point, you're going to have to draw a line with one player somewhere down the road.
Doesn't look that.
We got to either trade you or not pay you.
Doesn't look that way.
They're the only team who like hasn't been forced into a corner to trade one of their stars because of the salary cap. They're just like, well, we'll find a way to squeeze it in. Well, you go back to when Kyle Dubas first became general manager, the we can and we will thing.
Oh, God.
Even back then, everyone's like, there's no way you can keep these guys.
But yet here we are.
We're like 7 years past that, and they're all still on the team, and they're all still getting paid. And not only are they getting paid, they're getting paid like kings in the NHL.
Oh my God, like astronomical compared to it is crazy, man. But like I will throw this one at you right now, Chad. So now that the Nylander extension is done, 8 years, $11.5 million per cap hit, $92 million, the richest contract in the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Not almost all of it, but most of it in bonus.
Oh, like 69 million.
69 million. I mean, hello.
69 million in bonuses, like
obviously Willie was listening to the show.
Oh,
and he's like, look, 69's too low, but how about 92 total, 69 in bonuses? That's perfect. So at least he kept it in the sweet spot. I do like that. There you go.
Look, man, I'm going to say this. So now that the Nylander extension is done, what does it mean for Mitch Marner? What I hate to go right from contract to contract, but this is the life that is the Toronto Maple Leafs and the life that is the salary cap world in the National Hockey League. What does Mitch Marner's next deal look like, Chad, now that Nylander signed for full 8 years, 11.5? What do you think? Let's just take a couple minutes here.
Okay.
What do you think Mitch's next deal looks like? Because I'll before you answer that,
I'll tell you exactly what it's going to look like.
I guarantee you this: Mitch's next deal will be with the Leafs. He's not leaving. No.
This is exactly what's going to happen. Mitch is going to have a number in mind that he thinks he's worth. They're going to go back and forth, and then the Leafs are going to give it to him.
What do you think that is?
I think he'll want more than Nylander, but less than Matthews.
Okay,
so that would put him in the $12 million range.
But how can you pay? What has Mitch done? I know Mitch is an incredible hockey player, but how? To me, right now, it has shifted to Austin, best player on the team, Nylander, the second best player on the team, and Mitch is probably slid to the third spot. That's what I personally think. Do you think that's accurate or no?
Yeah. I mean, for this season, yeah. But if
40 goal scorer, man. Nylander.
For sure. But if you look at the overall career, Mitch has probably had the better career.
I think Mitch just scored. Okay, fair. Mitch, I think, just scored his 16th and 17th goals.
Yeah, Mitch has had an off season. He got out of the gate slow, and he's starting to pick it up a bit. But I don't think he's still at the Mitch level that we're used to.
Okay, do you see any world that we live in where Mitch Marner makes more than what Willie just signed for on his next deal? Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's going to want more than he's going to. I don't think he should get paid more than Willie.
Absolutely not.
Maybe they could get the same.
That would be the max. Like it's the same or a little less.
I guarantee you, it'll be the exact same scenario this summer. They'll go into the summer. Mitch will probably have he's on pace to not have one of his best seasons. So everyone will be saying he shouldn't get a pay raise. He should get less than Nylander. The season will start. Mitch will come out of the gate super hot because it's a contract year. And then sometime in December of 2024, near the end of this year that we're in, the Leaf management will be like, we've extended Mitch Marner to $12.5 million with like they'll give him what this is what they do. That's what I was saying on the last podcast. They've never drawn a line and been like you look at other teams, they're like, this guy's our highest paid player. Nobody gets more than that. The Leafs don't do that.
I think they have drawn a line. It's just these three guys.
The line's so high, man.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like these three guys, like they are the line. Everybody else is way fucking below the line
because they got no money for anybody else.
No, well now it's going to be ridiculous. Like when JT comes off the books and he slides down to, I'm hoping 5, maybe JT's next deal looks something like 5 times 5 or something like that. But Mitch, dude, like I would not personally pay Mitch more than 11.5. Like it's either the same as Willie, or you might take 11. Mitch, sorry, like do you want to be here or do you not? And it better be a fucking 8-year deal too. None of this 4-year bullshit. Just like I said last podcast, Austin's next deal better be a fucking like.
If Mitch is taking an 8-year deal, there's no way him and his camp are coming in at 11 million. There's no way. And I'm not saying that Mitch is better than Nylander. I'm not saying Mitch is worth the money. I'm just telling you the truth. Mitch is making 10.93 now. He's been on that contract for 6 years. He's not going to come in and be like, "Oh, I'll take a $70,000 pay."
Okay. So what do you think the max? What, 12?
Well, I don't think he'll go. I don't think it'll be like last time where he got very close to Austin Matthews. Like Austin was what, 11? I think Austin was what Willie's making, like 11.25, 11.5, something like that.
Yeah.
And he came in at 10.93. I think the next time around, he's going to want to get more than Willie, but obviously less than Austin. And Austin's at over 13, so I bet he's around 12.
Wow, it just keeps.
I'm not saying he's going to get it.
No, I hear you.
I'm
dude.
saying
like, I hear you.
That's probably what he's going to be looking for.
It just keeps chugging.
That's what I mean. If you draw the line, if they had drawn the line the first time and Mitch had signed for 8.5 or 9, then $11 million would be a huge pay raise. But now that he's already making $11 million, like 12 probably doesn't feel like a big.
He's making, he is making 11. You're right.
Yeah, he's 70 grand less than 11. He's making 11.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
And he held out last time because his whole thing was, he was just as.
It can't be over 12. Like it just cannot be. Like if it's 12, if they're paying Mitch Marner, like.
Yeah, but dude, you said in like October that Willie couldn't be over 11. I think you said he couldn't be over 10. And now he's 11.25.
Chad. Okay. 3-4 years ago, Nylander, I would have been willing to move off of this guy. 3-4 years ago, I would have been willing to move off. Yeah. But the season he had last year, 40 goals, impressed, one of the best players, if not their best forward in the playoffs.
I agree.
Just better. And then he comes out of the gates like a bat out of fucking hell. Meatloaf, shout out, bat out of hell. Meatloaf.
Rest in peace.
Holy shit, man. Absolutely killing it. Points in every game except for like 5 this season. Like multiple points tonight again from Nylander. So like I understand it. I do get like what his camp was asking for, and the team didn't want to go there, but Tree Living again was like, look, you got good players. Like you don't want to see this guy walk. So let's keep him. And like, cause they're worse without him. There's no doubt. And if he performs in the playoffs are going to tell a lot this season, without a doubt. I'm going to get a little bit into that.
But it doesn't matter what happens in the playoffs because he's already got his 8-year contract.
I know, but
that's the problem with these guys. They all get their money in their contracts
before they've done anything.
Before anything happens.
I know.
Like you may be right. Mitch may be the guy that gets hurt by this. Like if they get bounced in the first round again this year, Mitch might be the first one where they say, okay, enough is enough.
I doubt it though.
No, I highly doubt it too.
I
said, I bet he comes back in September, hasn't signed an extension, and he comes out of the gate hot and he gets his money.
Chad, as long as Shanny is there, I really don't see any situation or any scenario where Matthews, Nylander, and Marner are not on this team. I don't see it, man. Like those are Shanny's fucking boys, and they're just going to keep going back to the well with them until they fucking win. And hopefully they do. Like the East
you lock them up for these big long contracts. Like you have no choice.
right?
You've
Like
got
the last couple days, like this Nylander contract showed me a lot. Like the Leafs are like, they are not willing to move off of these big fucking guys, the big three specifically. I'm putting Tavares, but let me throw this. Like, let's say Tavares' next deal is $5 million, 5 times 5, something like that, to stick around, be the captain, whatever.
It'll be more, but yeah.
But maybe not. He doesn't need it. So maybe Tavares is the first guy to be like, I want to be, and he was saying like pregame, like, I want to be here. I'm a lifer here. I love the Leafs. Like saying all the right things. Like, is it 7 million? Is it 5 million? Maybe JT's like, I just made a fucking boatload of money. I will go. I know that the younger guys need to want more money. So maybe I'll take 5 times 5. And then all of a sudden, his extra cash that he was making, there goes the new Nylander contract. There goes the new Marner contract. And then when fucking Matthews is up again, he's going to 14 or fucking 15 in 4 years from now to stick around. It's wild, man. It is wild, especially wild. like you were saying, because like they haven't won, but they're paying these guys with the hope that they will. Not like most teams paying their dudes that like have won. Like they're paying these guys thinking, well, hopefully we will. Hopefully we will win with these guys.
There's a lot of guys who got big contracts that haven't won anything, because only one team wins the Stanley Cup every year. The difference is that the Leafs get more than those guys. Like the Leafs are getting paid like the guys who have won Stanley Cups.
Not anymore, though, I don't think. Like when you see guys starting to come up now again, McDavid, Draisaitl again. Draisaitl's up this summer. Guess what his price tag is going to be?
It's going to
be Auston Matthews. Like it's going to be. I think it's over. Like the friendly deals and the like, I want to be here. I don't think it's a thing. Yeah. Like maybe in some markets.
And you can't have any complaints. You can't have any complaints. If you get knocked out in the first round, you can't point fingers about the defense or the goaltending or whatever, because if you're going to take the big contracts and there's not enough money to fill those other positions, then it's on you. So that's the thing about these contracts. Like, great job, Willie. Awesome contract. You get bounced every year in the first round in your career, you're going to get shit on every single year. That's what you get in Toronto. So.
Potentially, but if he
win,
but if he shows up and is the best player cooking and everybody else falls off, then he probably won't take a ton of heat.
Yeah, but if they lose in the first round, the whole team will take heat. Like the whole team will take heat. The only answer to all of this, like we can go back and forth about who's worth what, got to win. If they win the Stanley Cup, I don't give a shit who's making what.
Sure.
That's it.
No, totally.
This is why I hate the salary cap. We just spend 20 minutes talking about salary when we should be talking about Willie the player.
I know.
Willie's growth.
All right. Anyway, it's over. It's all done. It's all wrapped up in tied with a nice little bow. Matthews will be here for another 4 years, and then I hope a lot longer after that. Nylander, 8 years. And I'm telling you right now, I don't see Marner going anywhere, and I don't see JT going anywhere. I think these are our dudes, and that's it. And that's it.
JT's going to say he is going to take a pay cut.
100%.
I guarantee that. Mitch is not taking a pay cut.
Marner will get a raise, but I don't see him going anywhere. Like, I think they will sign Marner for sure. Anyway, we'll move on.
Yep.
The game tonight, kind of a shit show. The Leafs ended up winning it 7-1 final. Just the San Jose Sharks, so bad. But
that's not fair, like the teams in their division, because you get to play the Sharks like 8 times. That's 16.
Not eight. They don't
whatever, four times. Like, but it's still, you get to play them more than other people. Like, it's such easy points on the line. We need a San Jose in our division. That'd be awesome.
I wasn't super, like, I thought the Leafs were gonna probably be dangerous here tonight, but I wasn't sure. Coming back from California, like the first game back, I'm like, I don't know, like maybe they don't tonight.
They didn't actually look great. Like, San Jose made them look great. I cannot believe how bad San Jose is. It's a joke.
Anyway, look, man, a bunch of good stuff. Like Nylander, a couple assists tonight, didn't get a goal, but Riley scored to get the Leafs cooking. They get a power play. Mitch gets it to Austin. He rips one home to make it 2-0 after one for the Leafs.
What a shot.
Oh, incredible. From like an impossible angle. That's just what he did. He had black tape on his stick to start. He went to white, went back to black, went to white. Austin's he's just like whatever. Guy's got 31 fucking goals and he's like switching the tape on his fucking stick.
I wouldn't
right?
change anything if I was
No,
Scarlet.
but I appreciate that. I like that he's just like not superstitious or anything like that. He's just like, yeah, maybe black tonight. Let's fucking try it out. They were Gord Miller and MJ on the broadcast on TSN were like, well, he's never
phenomenal job.
Great. Oh, love the TSN broadcast. Cheryl Pounder, shout out.
Yeah.
But like Mike Johnson was saying, like he's like he never puts black tape on his stick, but tonight he thought he'd give her a go. Didn't like it, switched it, and then he ripped one top shelf. So anyway, Matthews,
he had it on there for like 2 shifts.
Yeah, like 2 shifts. What the fuck, right?
Get that shit off.
Anyway, look, man. I mentioned about Mitch Marner. You don't maybe see it the same way I saw it here, but to me, the third goal of the game was an absolute tip-in, and we are dying for tip-ins here because there has not been a lot this season. So, Chad, why don't we hit it right now?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Just the Tip.
Perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels.
How about we play a little game called Just the Tip?
All right. Well, you break this down.
Dude, McCabe let it... Okay, McCabe. Okay, you can tell me what you thought, and I'll tell you what I thought. McCabe let it go from the point. Mitch was not in front of the net; he was just standing to the side of the net, but he got his shaft. No, sorry, I'm dreaming of tip-ins off the shaft like old JT fucking shit here, man. This was just right off the meat, Chad, the meat of his blade, and it, on the broadcast. I think MJ called it a redirect. I don't even know what that means, but Gord Miller said, what a tip-in from Mitch Marner. And as soon as Gord Miller said, how many hockey games has Gord Miller called in his life? When he sees a tip, Chad, I'm like, yeah, that's it right there. I saw it too. Right off the meat of his blade for Mitch Marner. I knew he was going to have a fucking big game tonight. And what a nice little icing on the cake, but a little bit of a tip in for Mitch Marner. That made it 3-0 Leafs at that point. Not a tip. You were like saying, I don't know if it's a tip, Dale. Like what?
I mean, okay. I didn't know Gord Miller called it a tip. If Gord Miller called it a tip, then I'll say it's a tip. But like what I saw was he kind of like whacked at it.
Oh, I thought you were going to use the R word there for a second.
No. But when you kind of swing at it, a little bit, I don't consider that a tip. I consider a tip is got to be, you've got to have a stiff shaft that's held still. Okay. And you just put a little bit on it, just a little tip. But if Gord Miller called it a tip, I'm not going to argue with him. He has seen a billion tips in his life.
Yes, he has.
He knows a tip.
Okay, so anyway, Marner, big night for Marner, 2 goals, 2 assists. Let's just call it a tip. Leave it at that. That made it 3-0 for the Leafs. And then they were just boom, boom, boom. Holmberg comes down. He outmuscles his man. One-handed, fucking pops it in the net. Holmberg.
That's a beauty.
That made it 4-0. Marner got it to McCabe to make it 5-1. The Sharks did get a goal in there. Marner pops another one, 6-1. Robertson gets one, 7-1. That is fucking it. Jones, solid again, giving up 1 goal again. I know we're playing San Jose. He wasn't peppered.
Doesn't matter.
Like that, but again, only giving up 1 goal. You go back to the California road trip, Chad. The Kings game, shutout. Anaheim. Or what game did he? Yeah, 3-0 against the Kings. 1 goal against the Ducks. A goal against the Sharks in San Jose. Comes home, only 1 goal against Martin Jones. That's awesome, man. Awesome. Like, I know they put a 7. Like, Samsonov could have been in net tonight, and they still would have won.
But it would have been like 7-5.
But it would have been dicey.
Yeah, it would have been close. It would have been ugly. No, and Jones, he wasn't tested. You texted me, and you're like, we're halfway through the second. They have 7 shots on net.
Yeah,
but
not good.
He did make a couple big saves.
Sure.
And it was the same in the California trip.
Guys,
the LA game, he was probably his biggest test, and he got a shutout. And the Anaheim game and the Sharks game, he was just solid. That's all you're asking. Just make a save. Look at the difference how the team plays with a goalie they're confident in. When it's versus when they had Samsonov in net. They didn't know what the hell to do when Samsonov wasn't dead.
No.
Anyway,
Speaking of the goaltending, I'll say this. Joseph Woll was back on the ice today
was.
for the first time since his injury. Not doing anything crazy. I did see some video footage of it. I don't know if you did or not. He was kind of just like fielding pucks behind the net, and there was like one of the assistant coaches like taking shots on him, but it was very like he wasn't going down.
Light,
he was just
very light.
He was standing like he didn't go down. He was just staying up. So he's still a ways away, but good to see him back on the ice and like, you know, step in the right direction for Woll. Don't need to spend a ton of time on that. I know we're running a bit long here, so I want to rip through a couple more things before we get out of here. Matthew Knies, I want to bring up him briefly here, Chad, and get your thoughts on this. Like, I just think I've been so impressed with Matthew Knies on that top line. I think he's done such a good job down low on that line with Mitch and Austin. He's so great in the corners. He's so strong on the puck below the goal line and just battling. I just wanted to take a second on Matthew Knies because I have just been so fucking impressed with this kid. Like, is he scoring every night? No. Is he putting up points every night? No, he's not. But is he working his fucking ass off every night?
Yes. Yeah, he is. And you know what, man? I totally agree with you. I see it too. We talk about it a lot. We actually talk about a lot of this shit when we're not recording. We should just record like after the show when we just sit and talk. But he's been unbelievable at working hard. And you know what? He's got the skill. The goals and the points, they're going to come. That's what she said.
100%.
They're coming. That's what she said.
He looks like a good fit there for me. And when Tree Living's dealing out massive contracts like this, they've still got Knies for 2 years entry level after this. Fraser Minton, Easton Cowan.
Next year's team is going to be just all entry level contracts.
I don't think that's a bad thing, man. You're going to have some fresh kids out there like Minton and Cowan potentially that are going to be hungry and like something to prove. I don't hate that, to be honest with you. I don't hate it. So
no,
we'll see. Like, I think Bertuzzi and Domi it's going to be a one and done for those guys unless one of them wants to take a major discount, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But anyway, I just wanted to,
Matthew Knies, awesome.
Incredible. And I'll end it on this. I honestly want to say that, like, okay, Robertson has been out of the lineup for basically they were winning and he would not. And so he didn't draw back in the California trip. He would not have drawn back in tonight, Robertson, if it wasn't for Gregor. I think they've got a little flu bug or something, some illness going around. So Robertson drew back in. Gregor was out. Was not even going to talk about Robertson here. The guy I was going to talk about is McMahon. I think McMahon fits in real nice on that fourth line. I think he's strong. I'm not going to put him where Knies is, but I'm going to tell you this. As a fourth line guy, I've been very impressed with McMahon. In the past, not been able to stay healthy, but he is now able to. He's becoming an every-nighter. I think he's throwing his weight around. He's making smart plays. I just wanted to take a second and give a shout out to McMahon as well. What have your thoughts been on McMahon?
Yeah,
as a bottom six guy.
That's exactly what he is. He's a good fourth line player. Yeah, he plays. I think it's
you like what he brings though, or no?
I like what he brings, but it's one of those things. Like, in all honesty, I think Bobby McMahon, you could find another Bobby McMahon if you really tried. It's not that hard. But after the way the fourth line looked in the first couple months with Ryan Reeves on it, it just looks so much better with Bobby McMahon that I think, we're elevating him. We're like, oh my God, he looks so good. But you can find another Bobby McMahon. But yes, I do like Bobby McMahon. You got to have a fourth line like that. David Kampf can win faceoffs. Bobby McMahon gets in the corners, does his thing. And then guys like Holmberg, too. But God, I didn't know Holmberg had that kind of skill, that one-handed goal. I didn't know that.
That was awesome.
Oh, it was
absolutely awesome.
Anyway, yeah, I'm happy with Bobby McMahon. Matthew Knies, though, the sky's the limit on the kid. Anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anything else from you?
Well, I was just going to say, like, do you think McMahon has done enough, or you still need to see more out of him to have him in the lineup come playoff time?
Oh, I would have him in. Yeah, 100%. I would have him in the lineup in playoff time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the third and fourth line are so important in the playoffs. Like the whole Ryan Reeves thing. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen come playoff time. I doubt he plays because like he can't play anymore.
He could be on a boat to Robital Island any day.
He might be on Robital Island. But yeah, a guy like Bobby McMahon, the way he plays is going to translate very well into the playoffs. That's what I think.
I like that. I think
Can't
so
wait to see it. Same with Matthew Nyes. The way he plays is going to translate really well into the playoffs. I can't wait for it. Anyway, anything else?
No, I still like we spent a lot of time on the Nylander Marner thing and all that shit tonight. So whatever, we'll bounce out of here tonight. We'll be back Thursday after the Islanders game.
Yeah, man.
To the Atlantic Division, how tight it is, potential playoff matchups, and what that could mean for what the Leafs really need to do for a potential first round playoff matchup against the Cougars, aka Panthers, aka Cougars.
yeah, we'll get into that. And I really want to talk
about
about the Atlantic Division because it is so surprising compared to what we thought at the start of the year.
It's crazy, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that in the next podcast or the one on Sunday because I believe they play back to back this weekend, so we won't do Saturday night. We'll do Sunday or Monday.
100%.
Anyway, for the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, don't forget to follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Tip In Podcast on TikTok. Tip In Pod on Twitter. Email us tipinpodcast@gmail.com. We love getting your emails. Shout out to everyone who leaves the comments on YouTube. Shout out to all our new subscribers on YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your family's friends, tell your friends' moms. We will see you next time.
I was going to say that.
Because we're thinking. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
And we will.
Hey, look, guys, we're going to see what's really up with this Leafs team in the coming weeks because we got games coming up against Colorado, Edmonton, Vancouver, Winnipeg, the top teams in the league, minus Edmonton, but still a tough matchup there. But Colorado, Vancouver.
They're a playoff team now, though.
Or sorry, Colorado, Vancouver, Winnipeg. Like Winnipeg and Vancouver, two of the top teams in the league. Crazy stuff. So
Winnipeg does not give up goals.
No.
Not like San Jose.
No. So we're not getting another matchup like tonight here. Things are going to be picking up here big time. So we're going to see what this Leafs team is made out of big time over the next couple weeks. Can't wait for that, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Again, like and subscribe on YouTube. We really appreciate that. Go Leafs, go. We will catch you after the Leafs New York Islanders game in Long Island on Thursday night. Anything else, Chad?
No, let's end it.
All right, guys. We'll catch you later.
Catch you later.